What is your reaction to this bill that has just been moved in Parliament?
I mean, I think this is a very historical moment. It's completely unprecedented. It's about time that something of the sort has been done. Women have long been suffering. Women continue to suffer. And I think COVID, if nothing else, has highlighted how much have women suffered through this process. And no woman should be ever feel criminalized or doing something, illegal for accessing something that is healthcare at the end of the day. So I cannot thank, the Parliamentary members, Mani Farrugia and Godfrey Farrugia, for having tabled this, monumental bill. And I hope that government will now proceed, to take it further, because, women should not be going through this at all.
And the reality of this is that this bill has been tabled by an independent candidate. Don't you think there are risks that this bill could potentially be ignored on the wider agenda of Parliament?
I think if the government ignores such a bill, I think it's sending also a strong message in terms of how they feel about the whole thing, and even especially women, if nothing else. For me, it would be a message that women continue to be second-class citizens in this country. This piece of legislation, the decriminalisation of abortion, basically, specifically targets a gender, which is women and nobody else. And I think it's high time that now we recognise women for who they are and what they are, and that they are human beings, with their own rights. So I think that would be the message if ignored, basically, that, a government that is progressive at the end of the day, and claims to be progressive, should and ought to not ignore this bill.
It's a historic moment. It really is. I mean, this is a first for women in Malta. What we're expecting, what we're hoping is that women will be treated as equals, equal to men. There is absolutely no reason why women should have to go to jail if they do something which they've decided to do is in their best interests, whatever that might be. In this case, obviously, we're thinking about abortion, but it is truly a historical moment. What I'm hoping for, of course, is that our members of Parliament will take this up and start treating women in an equal manner to men. It's a superb day, it really is. It's a culmination of a lot of work. I hope it is the beginning of the end for this really inhumane law. I think we need to continue our lobbying. I mean, this is what we've been doing as Doctors for Choice for 2 years, and as Voice for Choice even longer, as a coalition. We need to continue to lobby. And we should do this not only nationally, but also internationally. We are one of the very few countries in Europe that does not have, decent laws that allow women to choose what happens to their own bodies. So I think the next step is lobbying. And with a bit of luck, people will listen to what is essentially common sense, totally common sense.
Do you see this bill being accepted ultimately?
I was born an optimist. I will die an optimist. So the answer is absolutely yes. I hope to be right.
It's a historical day for Malta, it's a historical day for social progress, and it's a historical day for women's rights here. We're only one of 5 in the world to have a blanket ban on abortion, and the only EU member in the EU, basically. I mean, it's ultimately taken way too long, but we're glad that finally a bill has been proposed. I think it's honestly surprising that it has taken this long, especially not forming part of the EU. However, nonetheless, we celebrate today. I do think that this is obviously a reality we face with any bill. However, the fact that this is simply being discussed is already a big step forward, especially for Malta and how conservative we have been towards abortion in Malta. Unfortunately, the bill, abortion as an issue has been heavily politicized, even though it is ultimately not a political issue, but a medical one. And this is something that we really want to push and say, this is not ultimately a social issue, it is a medical one. And really and truly, politicians have no place in discussing this as much as doctors do. However, in the decriminalisation of abortion, we acknowledge that in their role and their significance in getting there, and we support them as they do.